Hello people, it's Jonathan, and yesterday it was announced that Matt Kenseth will be returning to NASCAR to drive for Roush Fenway Racing, replacing Trevor Bayne for a few races. The first race he will drive the 6 car instead of Trevor Bayne will be Kansas. So, what do I think of Matt Kenseth kicking out Trevor Bayne for a few races? I don't think it's a good idea. Because the last thing a decent team like Roush needs to do is partially kick out a driver mid-season and knock him down to part-time. Because they could have easily ran a third car like what RCR did for Daniel Hamrick when he made his debut in the Cup Series. So, it's good that Matt Kenseth is coming back, but they don't have to kick out a driver and have him run part-time, because it's not good for our sport when a decent driver like Trevor Bayne gets kicked out for a driver that's already retired. So, let's go over Matt Kenseth's history. So, he made his debut in NASCAR driving the number 17 car in the Xfinity Series, back then the Busch Series, for team owner Robbie Reiser. In 2000, he moved up to the Cup Series, driving the number 17 car for Roush, and also he attempted his Cup debut in either 1998 or 1999, but failed to qualify. He would drive the number 60 car for Talladega, but like I said, he failed to qualify. Then he would replace Bill Elliott for a race, which I believe was at either Dover or Bristol. But anyways, in 2000, in his rookie year, he also won the Coca-Cola 600. He would beat Dale Jr. for Rookie of the Year, and in 2003, he would win his first ever NASCAR championship after winning one race. Yeah, you heard that. One. Which was at Las Vegas. And he had some pretty decent years at Roush. And in 2009, he won the Super Bowl of NASCAR in the Daytona 500. He would win the Daytona 500 again in 2012 with Best Buy as a new sponsor. Also in 2010, Crown Royal began sponsoring him, and they would leave after 2011 when Best Buy became the primary sponsor. And in 2013, Matt Kenseth left Roush to join Joe Gibbs Racing after Joey Logano left to join Team Penske. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. would replace Kenseth in the 17. And Matt Kenseth, he was good at Joe Gibbs. But he didn't win a lot of races. But actually, he won some races. I'm pretty sure he went winless in 2014. I can't talk today. And 2015, he had that rivalry with Joey Logano. 2016, he almost won the Daytona 500, but it got loose. And then in 2016 at Talladega, first Talladega race to be exact, he went airborne and flipped for the second time in his career. His first flip would be in the Xfinity Series, also at Talladega in 2009, where he spun out and air got up underneath the car and went for a barrel roll on the backstretch and in turn 3. Both of his flips he landed on all fours, fortunately. In 2017, I'm pretty sure Joe Gibbs didn't renew his contract, so he left Joe Gibbs. And I knew that he was going to retire. And it was announced that he would retire in late 2017. So he ran a special paint scheme at Homestead, honoring his rookie car. And I'll have to get that as a diecast. And what I don't like about it is that Lionel only made the raced version. They didn't make the regular version. They just made the race version. But at least they're making it. And sorry about that. My dad came in because he's an absolute stalker. He always tries to disturb the peace. But anyways, yesterday it was announced that he would return to NASCAR driving this. Sorry if you hear any background noises. My parents are talking to each other. It's hard being a YouTuber living with your parents. I don't know about you guys, but for me it's hard. But one day I'll move out. Now we're going to talk about Trevor Bayne. In 2008 or 2009, he made his NASCAR debut. He made his debut in 2008 or 2009. I'm not exactly sure. He made his Cup debut in 2010, he replaced Bill Elliott for one race for the Wood Brothers. I don't know what race it was, but in 2011, sorry about the pause, but in 2011, he won the Daytona 500 in his second start driving for the Wood Brothers part-time. And in my opinion, sorry I'm eating almonds, but anyways, in my opinion, that is the greatest upset in NASCAR history. And later that year, he won his first career Xfinity, back then nationwide race, which I believe was at either Las Vegas or Texas. Sorry about that. I was making sure my dad would not come in, or my mom. But anyways, after his Daytona 500 win, he basically did nothing. The only good part about Trevor Bayne's career was his Daytona 500 win and his multiple nationwide, now Xfinity wins. He will continue to race part-time in the Cup Series for the Wood Brothers until 2015, where he began driving full-time for Roush in the number 6 Advocare car, replacing Carl Edwards, who moved over to Joe Gibbs Racing and retired after 2016. After being kicked out for Daniel Suarez. But anyways, He drove a red, white, and blue Advocare car in 2015. He hasn't done much for Roush, so it probably makes sense why he's getting kicked out and driving part-time, but still, it's an awful decision. Anyways, in 2016, he drove a generic, plain, white Advocare car. And in 2017, they improved his Advocare car greatly. As you can see here, it looked awesome. Have all the squares on the bottom. Just looks awesome. And in this year, he's running a black car, and I don't like his 2018 car, to be honest, because black doesn't go very well with Advocare, because it should be dark blue. I'd rather it be dark blue than black. Why is he running a black car instead of at least a dark blue car? I'd even rather see it white. Just makes no sense. But anyways, Roush decided to kick him out and have him run part-time. And also, many people predicted that he would leave Roush after this season, after being forced to run part-time. I really think he's gonna leave this team after this season. And here's what I think is going to happen. I think he will leave, and Matt DiBenedetto, I think, will leave, go fast, and Trevor Bayne will replace Matt DiBenedetto, as Matt DiBenedetto joins Starcom Racing full-time, and doesn't end up like Jeffrey Earnhardt, where he gets kicked out after 5 races, and the car becomes an absolute driver carousel. That's what I hate about some NASCAR teams, is that they fire a driver after a few races, like what BK Racing did in last year. They kicked out Gray Gaulding before Michigan because of financial reasons. And after that, the 23 became a driver carousel, and the 83. Both of those cars became absolute driver carousels because Corey LaJoie moved to the 23 after Gaulding was kicked out. And the 23 was only supposed to be for 2 drivers. They were only supposed to be for Joey Gase and Gray Gaulding. Joey Gase was supposed to run 3 races. I think he ran like 4 or 5. I don't know, but it was supposed to be for Gray Gaulding and Joey Gase. And then after Corey LaJoie stepped over to the 23, the 83 also became a driver carousel with drivers such as Brett Moffitt and Stephen Light. Even Gray Gaulding returned to BK Racing for a few races, and now this year, after filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, Gray Gaulding is apparently running full-time for BK Racing. And I predict they're going to close after this season. BK Racing is officially the Toys R Us of NASCAR teams. Or probably not, but it's just a terrible team. Probably the worst team in NASCAR. And I honestly think it's good that I wish they were a good team. I wish they were like a decent team. But their equipment's horrible. They have like the worst equipment any team can have. And last year they got in a lot of crashes too. And this year they're usually starting park. They went from crashing almost every single race to starting park / multiple laps down. I guess that's what happens when a NASCAR team files for bankruptcy. And BK Racing is really acting like a bankrupt team. They're always at the back of the pack, struggling. Yeah, they are a struggling team. They were supposed to be unsponsored for the Daytona 500. They were supposed to run a generic white number 23 car. But fortunately, they found sponsorship in Earthwater. And in Atlanta, they ran an unsponsored car. So it looks like sponsors such as Dr. Pepper, JAS Expedited Trucking, Sweet Frog, and Sun Frog have all, and Bubba Burger, have all left BK Racing. Oh yeah, and Dustless Blasting, even though they sponsor the 83. All of BK Racing's sponsors, except for Earthwater, has left the team. In fact, they all left the sport, but Dr. Pepper Snapple Group's sponsoring JD Motorsports. Canada Dry and Sundrop are sponsoring. But Dr. Pepper, let me tell you all about Dr. Pepper. I honestly think Dr. Pepper is the best cola ever. I think it's better than Coke, and it's probably better than Pepsi, even though I've never had Pepsi, but I have had a Pepsi salted caramel, and it's okay. But anyways, Dr. Pepper is awesome. One of my favorite sodas. And I honestly think they don't sponsor enough in NASCAR. They don't even sponsor a track. It's mostly Coke, and only a couple tracks sponsor Pepsi. And I hate how Coca-Cola gets full dictatorship. I mean, I like Coca-Cola, but there's not enough Pepsi things. Like, even Golden Corral stopped serving Pepsi products because we have to kick out Pepsi and serve everybody's favorite, Coca-Cola, because Coke makes the meal. And I know that I sound like NASCAR Racing Fan 2015. Shout out to him, by the way. I was inspired by him. Sorry, that was my dad coughing. I was inspired by him to do this video. But anyways, Dr. Pepper needs to sponsor more in NASCAR. So does Pepsi. But it's sad that there's no Dr. Pepper car in NASCAR. And I know they were sponsoring a garbage team in BK Racing, but it was Dr. Pepper was a great sponsor. Not Dr. Pepper Snapple, but Dr. Pepper. It's not just Dr. Pepper Snapple Group, but Dr. Pepper itself. Sorry, I had to correct myself because I never write scripts. But anyways, now on to what I'm mainly talking about, which is Roush. Matt Kenseth rejoining Roush. So, who I think will sponsor Matt Kenseth? I don't know. Hopefully Tide can sponsor him. It's probably gonna be Advocare or Performance Plus. I hope he doesn't run an unsponsored Ford car, because Roush always seems to run Ford cars ever since 2012 or 2011. I have a diecast right here. Ever since 2011, Roush has always had at least one race where one of their cars excuse me. But anyways, Roush has always had at least one race where they would have a generic Ford car. Not really generic, but an unsponsored Ford car, because, and I say that it's not really generic because the paint schemes are pretty good. I liked their 2012 cars where they had the stripes on it. I liked those paint schemes, and this year the Ford cars look pretty awesome, and especially the ones that were run in the Cup Series. But I'm not a fan of the Xfinity Series Ford cars, because honestly they need more blue. There's no blue on that car except for the Ford logo. And speaking of Ford, next year they're running the Mustang, and I thought it would be like a specialized Mustang, like they're running a specialized Camaro in the Cup Series this year, which is the Camaro Z01. I thought they would run something like the Shelby GT500 or Shelby GT350. But it is what it is. At least it is a Mustang. But anyways, sucks to see Trevor Bayne become a part-time driver instead of a full-time driver. And also, I forgot to mention this, but when Trevor Bayne leaves Roush, I think Ryan Reed will replace him. Many people think Austin Cindric will replace him, but I don't think he's ready for a Cup ride yet. I think he needs one full year with one team and one car, because his rides in the Xfinity are an absolute carousel. He's not driving He's driving not one, not two, but 3 different cars in the Xfinity Series. He's driving the number 60 for Roush and both the 12 and the 22 for Team Penske. That is absolutely ridiculous. Next year, I think he should drive for Roush or Team Penske full-time in the Xfinity Series, and whenever Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, or Ryan Blaney even leaves, or if Penske expands to a 4-car team, then Austin Cindric will get a cup ride at Penske. And I can see Chase Briscoe going to Stewart-Haas or front row. Probably Stewart-Haas. I can see him replacing either Kevin Harvick, Clint Bowyer, or Kurt Busch. I think Cole Custer is going to replace Kurt Busch or Kevin Harvick. And Haas can move to the four Monster Energy, can sponsor Kurt Busch for the whole season. And Busch Beer could move to Clint Bowyer, because I think Cole Custer's too young for a beer sponsor. But anyway, that'll wrap up the video. Thanks for watching, and this is Jonathan signing out. Goodbye.